Welcome everybody, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming today to commemorate, to celebrate the life of a fib, a friend that we'd all love to call a friend, Harold Burke. I've known Harold the most of my life, from the time that we were eating paste together, times that we had some fisticuffs, times we were chasing girls. Harold's been a friend that any friend would love to have. To really understand Harold, we've got to kind of go back, take a step back to where he came from. Harold was born in Chicago, Illinois back in '76. Grew up in a sort of a tough neighborhood. He used to tell me of his adventures to school each and every day. He had some tough times. He had some times when he had to walk away from drug deals going. He had to walk away from fights, had to walk away from a lot of things that would tempt him to do things that he just shouldn't do. At times he succumbed. He did things that he probably shouldn't have. But overall, Harold had a great childhood. He told me of the times he'd run the streets and have fun. And, back in the days of the city where the streetlights would come on and it'd be time to go home and you needed to get home. Harold's life changed a bit when he was about 6 or 7 years old. He had a sister named Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany. I love you. Tiffany was a challenge for him. Not only did Harold have to worry about taking care of himself, but he also told me that he really had to take care of his sister. There was an added surprise, though. See, as Tiffany got older, Harold was pretty streetwise. Harold had a tendency to say what was on his mind and stand up for himself. But she was everything Harold was, with a big mouth. Now, again, Tiffany, that's Harold's words, not my own. Just saying. Tiffany could stand up for herself, and many times he thought he was saving her butt, and when in fact she actually was saving his. He told me some great times. One particularly instance, he was about 5 blocks from home, and he had been with his sister to pick some things up at the store, and some bullies kind of started giving him the what for, and were being nice to his sister, and she ran up and said, "Listen, Big Mouth, that's my brother you're messing with. You don't want to mess with him because you'll mess with me." He actually said it worked. They laughed, and they kind of took off, and everything was cool. But I think he was a little embarrassed. I think he was a little embarrassed that his sister had to stand up for him. His mission in life definitely was to be there for his sister. He loved her dearly. So life was moving along, and Harold got into his teens, and his parents had this great idea that, we should probably move our kids away from all this crime, all this trouble. Let's move to Wisconsin. Harold moved to Wisconsin. First freshman year of high school. I kind of lost touch with him for a while. But he told me, I remember the first conversation we had. He said, "Yeah, so I feel like I'm a fish falling out of the frying pan and into the fire. Moving into the land of cows and Packer fans." And Harold said he didn't always know how to tell the difference. Again, Harold's words, not mine, guys. In fact, Harold loved Wisconsin. Not at first. He recalls a story he told me. First class, one of his first classes in high school, science class, and the teacher was going over the attendance records and announced him as Harlow Burke. Harold Burke's tough enough to walk around with, but then everyone had to call him Harlow for quite some time. Harold lived it out. He sometimes was his own worst enemy, declaring his love for the Chicago Bears, one that stuck with him until the day that he died. But he really loved his Bears. Win, lose, draw, whatever. They were his Bears. That's what I liked about Harold. He really liked his sports. He stuck with his sports and stuck with his home team, even if they weren't always the best. Harold struggled a bit too, first coming to Wisconsin. What to do? What do I do? In the city you could go here, you run there, you take a bike trip 4 blocks away and you're at some new stores. He'd tell me of all the shopping he'd do, all the different neighborhoods and how they had their own ethnicity and different kinds of food and stuff, but Wisconsin was a little different. But he loved wildlife. He decided to try FFA, freshman in high school, raise some hogs. he loved it. He loved being outdoors. He loved to hunt. He loved to fish. And I've got so many conversations that we've had about him fishing and the first fish he caught and the first buck he harvested. And he just loved to be outdoors. He just loved to enjoy what he could. So Harold's cruising along. He loved high school. As after he got a little acclimated to it. And after high school, he got a job. He started to work the dream. Bought a truck. Really enjoyed that. Enjoyed being having the freedom to be on his own. But then life happened, and he met Amy. He met his lovely wife, Amy. Amy truly changed him. Just when he thought he was set in his ways, he had his eyes opened. Fell in love. Quick relationship. They were together just about a year. Decided to get married. Had their first son, Drake. What a life changer, he said it was. He said when he stared into his son's eyes for the very first time, he knew that he wanted to be more. And I think his son and Amy, he said made him more than what he thought he could be. He got involved in the church. He found God, and I don't mean that as a joke. He really did. He found a true place for God in his heart, and it changed him immensely. Got involved in church activities. He was on the deacon board. He actually was working towards his pastoral credentialing. He wanted to be a minister. He wanted to be a children's pastor. It really moved him. It shaped him. It changed who he was. He just wanted to help everyone. I saw this change in him. He accepted Christ, as he called it, and he was just there all the time, helping out anywhere he could, helping out at church, helping people out on the street. I remember a time that he said he was driving home, saw a homeless man on the street, drove about 3 blocks down, and he was just taken back at the fact that there was this voice inside him saying, you should help him. What does he do? He gives him every last dollar he has in his checkbook, or his wallet. That wasn't enough, though. He said, I really felt like I needed to do something now, show this guy some love. So he took him to a restaurant. I got to know him, actually bought him his dinner. They talked. I remember this guy, Charlie. He was a retired veteran, Harold said. And Harold said that he'd actually had a family and lost a family tragically and kind of given up on life. And Harold hopes that maybe that was a chance for him to kind of give him a refresh, a renew, a start over. Show him that there were people that were good in this world, people that cared, people that would show love. I could talk all day, the good things that Harold did and how his life changed. But I want you to know, and I'm sure a lot of you have sensed it as well, he changed my life. Really made me a better man, a better person. Made me smile, made me laugh, and made me mad sometimes. But most of the time it was because he was right and we were arguing about something that I was doing that I probably shouldn't have. Now, Harold wants you guys to remember him for his laughter. I want you to remember him for a kind heart. But I think he'd want you to ultimately remember that he's always there for you. Now, you might not see him, but you can still talk to him. He's still there. He wants to build you up. He wants you to find joy in your life. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you for being here to celebrate his life, his love. Have a great day.